President Zelenskyy has also spoken about the peace deal which is on the table that was recently endorsed by Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko, who incidentally met Putin recently. He's also, in fact, spoken about negotiations with American President Donald Trump. Listen in.
President Trump, as his rhetoric changed, the signals have changed, and the attitude to Ukrainian security in Europe have changed. And there is a deep understanding of what's going on the battlefield, and it's important that it corresponds to reality. Reality that we see every day. His attitude toward justice, just responses to Russian aggression against Ukraine, his attitude now is just. This is what I heard from him. This is what was there during our discussions. I cannot say what tomorrow will bring, because the world is changing much faster than somebody could have forecasted. So as of today, the stance of President Trump is, in my view, it is truly balanced, and it supports Ukraine's stance. Although undoubtedly he wants to be and to remain a mediator between us and Russia in order to end this war. And even on this item, in the fact that he wants to end the war as soon as possible, here Ukraine supports his steps. Our task for today is to preserve the new attitude of the United States of America toward this. President Trump, as his rhetoric changed, the signals have changed, and the attitude to Ukrainian security in Europe have changed. And there is a deep understanding of what's going on the battlefield, and it's important that it corresponds to reality. Reality that we see every day. His attitude toward justice, just responses to Russian aggression against Ukraine, his attitude now is just. This is what I heard from him. This is what was there during our discussions. I cannot say what tomorrow will bring, because the world is changing much faster than somebody could have forecasted. So as of today, the stance of President Trump is, in my view, it is truly balanced, and it supports Ukraine's stance. Although undoubtedly.
Still with us on the broadcast is Ms. Alison Mutler. Interesting statements coming in from Zelensky. He's reaffirmed Ukraine's aspirations to join the European Union. That is not all. He's in fact also pointed out Donald Trump's frequent changing rhetoric, calling his current outlook as just. Interestingly, Zelensky has been seeking American Tomahawk missiles to gain an edge on the ground. In your assessment, will the Trump administration consider this proposal as indicated by J.D. Vance?
It's hard to say, as was said just now in the translation. Trump does, it's very hard with Trump because he often does change his mind and he's not predictable. And in fact, that's one of his personal political weapons, is to keep people guessing. But he does appear to be changing his attitude towards Ukraine with signing off on the weapons, etc. And he does appear, obviously, he is a politician, so he has a lot of people behind him, the MAGA, J.D. Vance, etc., etc. He is not he might seem very free the way he speaks, but he's not free in the slightest because he has a lot of people who support him. He has a lot of groups he has to keep happy, etc. So you have to remember when Trump talks, it's not Trump talking, it's Trump and the people that support him talking. So he only has a certain amount of leeway in what he says. But what we've seen recently, he does seem to, I mean, he is the president. J.D. Vance, can afford to be more freewheeling. What he said about Remain, it was just, honestly, now we can see this months in advance, was very superficial and just political. He didn't really seem to know what he was talking about, but it looked good. It was exciting. Look, how's this country that cancels its elections? What a load of rubbish. But he hadn't actually looked at all the deep intelligence of what had been happening. But he could afford to say things like that because he's not the president of the United States. So we have to look at what the president of the United States does, what he's saying, and he does seem to be taking a tougher line with Vladimir Putin and with Ukraine, whether he wants to or not. Maybe he's just being pragmatic. I also personally think he does not like the geopolitical shift to the east, which means that America is much weaker on the world stage. And this is why he is trying to play a role in the big world conflicts like the Middle East, like Ukraine, etc., etc. Also because he says he wants a Nobel Prize, but he doesn't want to go down as the president that made